I hated dying. The darkness didn't scare me. I was used to that hollow emptiness lingering in my soul, but I would never get used to the silence. Ever. My body was hoisted onto a cold wooden bench, and my head slammed against the solid planks. Pain shot through the back of my skull. I would have screamed if I'd had more than a breath left in me. With the very last of my strength, I tightened my grip on the fistful of small gold coins in my left hand. 2 fingers pressed into my neck. There was a subtle vibration in the room, and the faint smell of whiskey filled the air. Voices. I couldn't hear their voices. Panic crept through me. If I lost total control over my emotions, I would be trapped in a state of paralysis until they buried me alive, and my body rotted from the outside in. I clung to the only rational thought I had left. It's just death. I exhaled. The pain faded, and I suddenly felt weightless. Time seemed to stand still. My heart stopped. There was no sound. The sharp clinking of coins scattering across the floor rang in my ears. My eyes shot open. A white sheet obstructed my vision. The woman gets bitten by a venomous snake, and her first thought is to grab some worthless coins. I gasped and sat bolt upright, tearing the sheet off my face. Every inch of my body ached, and I struggled to get enough air into my lungs. Candles illuminated the cramped space, casting shadows on rows of bodies covered in identical white sheets. "It's an apparition!" a slender young man shrieked. I spun around, not sure I could take any more surprises. "What? Where?" The young man pointed at me with his mouth agape. A taller gentleman with a silver-streaked beard stood beside him, completely expressionless. I let out a breath. "You nearly scared the life out of me, you fool!" I rubbed my throbbing head with mangled fingers. "Which one of you broke my hand?" The young man's eyes rolled back in his head, and he fainted. I fixed my gaze on his companion. I knew I couldn't run forever. He wiped his hands on a blood-stained apron. But I didn't think they'd send a trapper. "That's what happens when you illegally sell body parts off-world, Doctor." I swung my legs off the table, and my boots hit the floor, hard. Gravity always felt heavier after a reawakening. Even the thin fabric of my cotton gown seemed to weigh down my shoulders. "Your eyes." The doctor stared at me through furrowed brows. "I've seen you before." A pungent odor, like rotting fruit, filled my nose as my sense of smell returned. "No, you haven't." "I remember every inch of my patients," he said. 2 years ago, there was a woman, badly burned, but she had your eyes." I squared my shoulders. "What happened to her?" "I suppose you don't want to know the details." He flashed me a crooked smile. "But her eyes fetched me a decent profit.